So we're discussing materials for sketchbooks, and literally you could put almost anything in your sketchbook. This is a mishmash of a lot of what I use at times. I don't use all these all the time, obviously, but these are things that have gone into my sketchbook. First, I have here various pens. These are gel pens. These are some white markers that are paint pens, and of course a good old Sharpie. This is the High-Tech C pen. Pilot makes those. That's what these are. In the way of pens, again, I have Esterbrook dip pen nibs that I may use. A lot of this, like these, I tend not to carry around with me when I'm out in the field. I tend to just work with the other materials, but I have taken these out. It's just a little more of a pain because then you have to take your inks with you. This is FW acrylic ink, black, and Sumi ink, which I really like as well. This is a non-waterproof ink. It will continue to bleed if you keep hitting it with water. I love these Color One Crayons. These aren't like your typical Crayolas. These are so incredibly sensitive. They really can lay down a beautiful line, or a really thick, heavy line of color. And I'll also sharpen those. And with this is a great sharpener for sort of all-purpose. It does my crayons over here. It says color grip, but I use the regular pencil in those two, and then this does the crayons. Brings them to a nice point. And I can do that real quick. Show you how that works. And it will give you a nice fine point. But what I do like about the crayons, I may start with this fine point, but I like that they get blunt very quickly. So I have various ones of those. I like to buy these actually singly if you can, and then put them in the tins. The other thing I've got here these are brush pens, also by Pentel, and it makes a beautiful line in the sketchbook. It can be really or heavy. They're a lot of fun, and they are cartridge pens. I also use a syringe to fill these cartridges with my own ink, which is more of a burgundy color. I like regular pencils. I don't use mechanical pencils. So this is a regular Faber-Castell. Even a regular Ticonderoga is a great pencil, a number 2. I also love these woodless graphite pencils by General. This is a 6B. I also have here, I think, is it a 4B? Yep, 4B. And what I like about a regular pencil is you can do this, then you can lay down on it and get all that going. It can be incredibly delicate or hard, and you can also smear it fairly easily. It's great. And that's where you bring your erasers in. And eraser for me is not just an eraser, it's actually a drawing implement. I use it to draw with, not just erase things. Brushes, I prefer these Raphael Kolinsky Sables with the orange tips on them. They hold their point, they keep their springiness. And I use those for ink, for oils, and for my watercolors. Here's my really clean watercolor set. If a color finishes, I'll squeeze it out with new tubes. I may just squeeze them in here and let them dry, and that refills my pans. Here are my dip pen holders. And you also want to make sure you bring along a lighter if you're going to use a dip pen. Hit the end of the nib to burn the excess oil off so it'll actually hold ink. And they make also these eraser sort of pens. Those are great. And that sort of covers it. And you're going to need something to carry all this stuff in, and a nice hard case to carry some of these materials in is always a good bet. It took me forever to finally buy one of these things. I used to lug all this stuff around and just have it scattered inside of a bag and shoulder bag, and it always got damaged. And here, this is a little bit more convenient. Keeps things nice. And you will need a nice shoulder bag to carry all this stuff in. But you can also use all kinds of things in a sketchbook, and you could do finger painting, you could do whatever. But these are generally the sort of things that I carry around and may use in my studio. And I might also glue things down and do some collage or whatever. But when I'm out in the field, a lot of this goes with me, believe it or not.